I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 892 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's June 15th, 2026. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10. That's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got another full show. We're talking solar field clearing and chainsaw troubleshooting, whether we're sprinting towards Idiocracy fueled by bread and circuses, my first biochar test run, and what the heck a retort actually is. Plus, the Echo radios are still floating somewhere in the postal system, floating solar projects in New York, failing local refrigeration systems, and whatever else catches my attention before the caffeine wears off. Oh, God, I hope the caffeine doesn't wear off. Grab your coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully, we don't have any technical issues. I've been... It's been an interesting weekend, and then even this morning with some computer stuff. I've had my computer, my super expensive, less than $200 Amazon desktop I got after my computer got fried by power surges here in the camper a while back. I just bought a cheapie to get going again on Amazon. It's been working fairly well along the way. I mean, for the price, you can't beat it. And over the last few days, last week or so, it's just been randomly shutting off. No rhyme, no reason to it. Nothing. I don't know why. It's just shuts off. So if I disappear at some point, there's that. And then this morning I loaded up StreamYard to do the live stream, and it just crashed. So we got two possible issues here, so hang out if things go sideways. I don't know if I'll be back. I'll try. The computer takes a little while to fire back up. I don't know how long that would be, but yeah, we'll see. So fingers crossed everything works well until at least the end of the show. Good morning, Mike's Homestead over in the comments. How you doing today? Pip, how you doing? Morning, humans, and cheers to you, sir. I'm gonna try to get the Facebook feed up over here. I remembered to mute the event today. Good morning, Hunter over on Twitch. Thanks for popping in. I remembered to mute it today so it didn't pop up and play in the background, but yeah, it's here. So I don't know. I've had issues with getting. I've gone back in to the YouTube feed or the Facebook feed later after it's been completed and seen comments over there. So I'm trying to pull it up, make sure I don't have any comments coming in over there. I like to acknowledge anybody that takes the time to listen to the show live and pop in and have comments. I like to interact with them, so I don't want to be ignoring anyone over there. And I've been doing a little bit of Facebook building on the Lots page there, so maybe we got some new listeners and some people hanging out. So we will see. But got that all fired up over here and muted so we don't have issues. I guess time for the Bitcoin guessing game. Oh boy. I'm going to have to do some quick math here, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Bitcoin guessing game this week, June 15th, 2026. You can see green over there. It's been rising this morning, and we got a couple of guesses that are really close, and I want to make sure that I get the right one. Math in the morning is not the best, but right now I got Bitcoin price of 65,909. That's what we're going to go with. 65,909 this morning, June 15th, 2026 at 6:07 a.m. 65,909 is the price we're locking in. Thesia and Scrambling, super close there. I got to see here, but I'll go through the other guesses before we get to them. I just want to make sure I'm crowning the right winner this week. It was a barn burner. Oof. We'll get to it here in the end. My guess, you can see up on the board, is still a way off. I'm leaving it up there. It is what it is. It is staying until we hit that price again. And man, the way it's rocking up there this morning, I don't know. It might get there sooner than later. My guess was 84,321. Rewilder Life in with a very low guess this week. She didn't think it was going to do very well. 57,000 even. Pip in with the guess of $58,431.95. Not close enough. Pip. Chris Dixon, 59,834. Canadian Farmstead in with the guess of 62. Canadian Farmstead in with the guess of 30,000. 62,000. Palm Tree in with the guess $63,123.45. Let's go to the guesses that were a little high. We had John Palmer, $87,654.32. Blueberry, Texas, $68,327. And the two closest guesses here, we got Scrambling with a guess of 66,544. 65,909. He was $635 off, and Stecia, 65,909. Stecia Ellis in with the guess of 65,000. Oh, that's pretty easy. 200. 709. Whew. Woo, woo, woo. Wait. What? Wait. Math is hard. Math is hard. Did they tie? Oh my god. I think they tied. Shit. 66. So DC was $709 off. This is just a shit show. Enthralling. Oh no. Scrambling with the win. Even with a calculator, I'm having problems. I need more of that FTO blonde espresso. Scrambling in with the win. That was only a difference. Was that $74. Guys, that's a little too close for comfort for me figuring that out on the fly. Scrambling with the win, $635 off. Thecia Ellis in with second place, only $709 off. Not bad this week, guys. Not bad. Lots of guesses all over the place. High, low, in between, and those two in with the dogfight right at the end. So appreciate everybody guessing. The winner gets absolutely nothing, but head on over to the Telegram group at t.me/lotschat. That's t.me/lotschat, and join in on the fun with that one. It's interesting. It's interesting. So anyway, that's out of the way. Let's Bitcoin. I don't know. Man, she's popping up this morning. Pip says I was waiting on the price dip. Waiting on a better dip than 50% off. I mean, I think we were at 124 at one point, so we're at about 50% off. So I would call that a decent dip. I mentioned last week that I don't think anybody that buys right now, if you buy and hold on, hodl your Bitcoin or hold on for any decent amount of time, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with where it ends up. So I think we're in a safe range to buy with abandon. Don't spend anything you don't have to spend, but definitely if you have some extra change, if you have ways to earn Bitcoin right now, is definitely a good time to be stacking that in the wallet. So not financial advice by any means, but just something to think about. Let's get to the list here. It's quite a decent sized list this week. Didn't do a whole lot of progress on the floor this week. This weekend was kind of stormy and really hot, humid around this area, and Corey and I made a decision both days really that we didn't want, with the possibility of some severe thunderstorms with a lot of lightning. We weren't comfortable leaving the dogs here for any length of time and having the power go out and the air conditioner stop working. We do have backup solar in the camper. We have solar, but it isn't robust enough to run our air conditioner for more than, I think it's like 38 minutes, and it'll just drain completely. So if the power happens to go out while we're not here and it's super hot and then the sun comes out, it turns into a sauna in here real quick. So we erred on the side of safety and kind of stood pat here. Spent the weekend together. Actually had some time hanging out and not working on it. So it didn't get a whole lot of progress on the floor, but did get some progress on the cabin this week. Nonetheless, I started more clearing for the solar field. Pip wants to know about the SpaceX IPO. I know nothing about it, really. I just not my thing. Not my thing. It made I saw news headlines that it made Elon a trillionaire. So that's what I know about SpaceX IPO. I don't know if anybody picked it up. Anyway, this I continued this week on clearing for the solar field. It's all stuff that has to get done, and that's the thing I reassure myself. Like, I have a punch list of stuff, and I'd like to do it in order. Like, getting the floor in opens up the opportunity for a lot of things. Us staying out there a little bit more, bringing the dogs out, and not ruining the subfloor and things like that. But there is a big list of stuff that has to get done either way, and in whatever order it happens. So clearing for the solar field, getting the solar field installed. I have a pad I have to prep for water tanks and a utility shed to build. So there's all sorts of stuff to go on, and just making that decision to err on the side of safety with the dogs is something that we did. But clearing for the solar field, I talked a few weeks ago about using a weed eater to knock down a bunch of brambles and overgrown blackberries and tulip poplar starts and all sorts of stuff. Clearing an area to where I could get to the tree trunks and have an area to drop the trees. That had been done for a while. I had it kind of skimmed down. We were working on other projects, finishing up, getting the cabin dried in. This week, I went to drop some trees. I kind of have it laid out to where I'm going to drop a few trees, get them cleaned up, expand the area that has been cleared get the brambles and stuff cleared out, drop some more trees, get them cleaned up, and it kind of is a progression. And choosing the trees to fell and which way they're going to go has been kind of I've been thinking about it and pondering it, and it's kind of come into fruition, the plan and how it's going to lay out. And so the first three were, they were up. So I was ready to do that a few days ago. Got out there, got things cleaned up, got everything set up, got my tools, got saw fueled up, got ready to do it, and went to Hunter asked, how am I going to remove the stumps? I'll talk about that in a second. When to start my saw. And so I've had a Husqvarna 455 Rancher since I bought the homestead. So I was thinking back, and I think I bought it in the fall or the winter, just after New Year's of 2016. So a little over 10 years old. I've been running that saw, and it's got a 20-inch bar. It has been a fantastic saw. It's big enough that it was big enough for everything I needed on the farm, dropping trees, cutting up branches, cutting up deadfall. Then again, here or on the road, we used it actually a couple times. Then when we got here, working out on the property, clearing and cutting up deadfall, clearing trails, dropping the trees for the cabin. It's been everything I've needed. It's always started. It's reliable. It runs good. It has had an issue since day one that it doesn't like to idle. It just shuts off. And it's not really a big deal. It kicks right back off. You just pull start it, maybe one or two pulls, and it fires right back off. But man, it just idles low, and it just doesn't like to sit and idle, which is what it is. I've just kind of dealt with it. I'm not doing a whole lot of setting the saw down and doing stuff, picking it back up and needing it right away. So it hasn't been a huge issue. I went to start the saw on, I don't know, it was like Wednesday or Thursday, and it just wouldn't start. Like it just wouldn't start. First time in 10 years, really, that I could remember that I pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, and it just wouldn't start. So I did some other stuff that day. I got some other stuff done, and then I came home early, brought the saw with me, and hit up ChatGPT. And I was like, well, let's just troubleshoot this. I had a kind of an idea of what it was, but I need some reassurance on stuff like that. I'm not the best with small engines. I know how they work. I know what's going on, but as far as rebuilding carbs and diagnosing stuff with them, it's not my cup of tea. So I pulled up ChatGPT on my phone. I was outside. I was working on. I had the saw, kind of got the cover off it, and pulled the spark plug. Looked at the spark plug, and immediately I knew that was probably one of the issues. Spark plug, original spark plug, by the way. So 10 years in, the spark plug finally, I think, got a little weak. It was a little fouled up, and from what I can determine, the saw just flooded. Because it wouldn't start with the spark plug was kind of fouled. So I cleaned up the spark plug. Haven't been to town yet again to buy new spark plugs. Probably going to grab one today, but got it cleaned up, tested it using ChatGPT's instructions. I kind of knew how to do it. I reassured myself by what it was saying. Had a spark, cleared the flood, just tried to start it a bunch of times, and reinstalled spark plug, and she fired right back off. I was like, okay, cool, perfect. And then I was like, I wonder, since I'm doing this, I wonder if I could fix that idle issue. So I typed it in, and it was like, oh yeah, that's a common issue with Husqvarnas from the factory. They set the idle speed low so that it doesn't have any, there's no chance of chain creep. Chain creep is when it's idling and the chain starts spinning, which you don't want to happen. So it gave me instructions. It showed me where to find the idle adjustment screw, told me exactly how to do it, warm it up, let it sit, adjust the screw, which way to turn it, how much to turn it. I followed the instructions, and man, I took it out to use it the next day, and I started it, and it didn't shut off until the gas tank was empty. It idled perfectly. I mean, I'm like, 10 years ago, if I had done this, I mean, like I said, it hasn't been a huge deal whatsoever at all, but that issue's gone now. So I have absolutely zero bad to say about that saw. If you're looking for a chainsaw for, I guess it would be medium duty use. I'm not a tree service guy by any means, but I've cut down my fair share of large trees. I've cut up a bunch of trees. Done a lot of clearing and things like that. The Husqvarna 455 Rancher has everything I need, and probably you would too on a homestead or something like that. I think it's a solid saw. Hunter asked how I'm going to remove the stumps. A lot of them I'm not really. I'm hoping that once I get them down and I start to lay out where my posts and panels are going to be and the racking for the panels, I'm hoping that it pretty much lines up to where the stumps are intermittent underneath them or just not in the way. A lot of the trees that I'm dropping are basically because of shade and sun exposure, that the stumps will be fine. I just take them to the ground as close as I can, and maybe put some Epsom salts in them or something. But I don't think I'm going to remove a lot of them. There are a bunch up by the house that that I'm going to have some equipment, whether I have the guy that does our driveway come up and pull them out, or if I rent some equipment and get them out of there. There are a bunch that we do have to get pulled out, but a lot of them are just going to leave. They don't bother me. Good morning, Martinson family. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. How's things up in the Great White North? So yeah, saw the next day, ran fantastic. It did have a little bit of hesitation in it, and I really think it's that spark plug is getting old. But she cuts good. Keep chain sharp, and keep the bar oil in it, and she just rips. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. So definitely recommend that Husqvarna. It's a buy once, cry once, I think, for that kind of tool. It's not it wasn't cheap. It wasn't the most expensive, but definitely worth the money. Let's see. Oh, I have a note here. I wish it was winter. I'd planned to do the solar field clearing in the winter. We did have a really rough winter here, and we're working on other things, and then lost about a month of access, and it just didn't happen. And now I'm having the time to do it. I'm gonna have to have it done when it's time to move on to the installation of those panels, and I really do wish it was winter. I wish, as I was cutting them down, as I was chunking them up and getting them ready to be split for firewood, it was, I think the feels like was like 108, and the humidity was just ridiculous. So it would have been much better if it was like 40 degrees and not humid, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And get it done. It's a good workout, and making sure making sure I stay hydrated. Martinson family says carpentry is the game. Sheet metal roofing today. Shore of the Dolphin Lake near 51st parallel in Manitoba. Way up there. Let's see. Anybody watch the UFC at the White House last night? I did not. I didn't go. I didn't have enough interest in it to try to find it for free. I know I could probably have found a YouTube feed or something like that of it. Maybe a little delayed. I know it was on Paramount Plus. UFC really just isn't my thing. I used to watch it back in the day when it was first coming out. It's just not my deal. I'll watch it if it's on, if we happen to be out eating or out at someplace where it's on TV, I'll watch it. It doesn't bother me by any means, but it just wasn't my thing. But I happened to notice yesterday I was scrolling through social media, and I saw the video after video of the dirt bikes jumping in front of the White House Nitro show or Nitro something. The dirt bikes doing the jumping, and then the one guy doing the backflip. And immediately when I saw it, the thing that flashed into my head was Idiocracy, and the scene where Joe Bauer's looking out the window, and all the people are riding the jet skis and stuff in the reflection pool there. Nitro Circus, Pip got it there. All the people are riding the jet skis in the reflecting pool out in front of the Capitol lawn or whatever it's called. And so I grabbed the clip and made up a little video. I found did a little YouTube search and got the video and kind of pieced together and threw that in there, those bikes flipping, and it just making me wonder where we're headed. I mean, Corey and I ended up watching Idiocracy yesterday again, just because we love the movie. If you haven't seen Idiocracy, you need to watch it. It's under an hour and a half long. It's goofy, it's dumb, but it really makes you think. And for Mike Judge to make this movie, man, it was back in 2000, early 2000. I don't even know what year it was. It was I don't think it was the 90s yet. 2006. So for him to put this together in 2006, he nailed it. I mean, it's supposed to take place 500 years in the future. 20 years was long enough. A lot of the things that were coming. Pip says just as Crocs shoes came out, right? And an interesting story is they picked Crocs because he felt that no one would ever wear them. They would never be popular, and only an idiot would wear them. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. Look where we are now. But he really, it's going that direction fairly quickly, and I don't think we're very far off. But I was just thinking when I was watching this UFC thing, the dirt bikes, the stuff going on all over the country, the distractions, the bread and circuses, really. Are we headed the way of Rome? I know there's always chatter out there of the parallels between the United States and the Roman Empire, and are the distractions here? Is the corruption in Washington like the corruption in Rome, and the distractions of the circus of the media, the circus of the sports, the circus of all of it? Is it distracting us from the real corruption in Washington, just like Rome? I don't know. I try not to pay enough attention to it to understand or to figure it out. But the more I see the spectacles that are out there, the more I wonder if we're just repeating. Canadian Farmstead says the only difference between us and Rome is Rome had better roads. Yeah, I mean, and they're still here today. Here today. Hunter's wondering about homemade Gatorade recipe going around. Speaking of hydration, haven't seen it. I don't know. How do you make it? It's just got to be electrolytes or salts and water, really. Mike's Homestead says, spent last week in Wyoming, Montana, high in the low 70s, no humidity, low in the 40s, 3 inches of snow Wednesday. Couldn't bring myself to go outside and do anything with the heat and humidity yesterday. Yeah, it's been rough here for, oh man, it's probably been 3 weeks now at least. Like we jumped right into summer for sure. We kind of skipped spring. We had a relatively mild winter and spring for about a week or two, and then man, we just dumped right into the super humid and hot, and it hasn't given up. So it's just time to get used to it. Time to be wet all the time, and I can only imagine going somewhere where it was more arid and the temperature was a little cooler. You would come back here and feel like you were in the swamp for sure. So, but definitely better than -30 all winter. Pip says, I've seen a homemade LMNT recipe. What the hell is LMNT? I'm not sure what that is. And Pip says even Florida people are complaining that it's hot. So, yeah, but anyway, don't get distracted, guys. Don't get distracted by all the bullshit out there. Keep your eyes open. And I mean, not that there's anything that we can really do about it. I've really rested on that conclusion, and I don't try. I try not to get upset about things and worry too much about what's going on in the political arena, because it's just nothing that you're going to be able to circle of influence, circle of control kind of thing. So Hunter says water, salt, sugar, lemon, cream of tartar in there. I'll let you know if I make it. And Pip says LMNT is a water additive for electrolytes and salt. guess I'm out of the loop on my sports hydration drinks. Brondo. It's what plants crave. Why do they give the plants Brondo? It's got electrolytes. What are electrolytes? It's what plants crave. Jesus Christ. Another thing I rolled out this week, worked out a little bit is the biochar project I'm trying, and this kind of goes hand in hand. Hunter says I should look at getting a quote for squenchers. What the fuck are squenchers? I guess. I don't know. I drink water like in the toilet. Except our toilet doesn't have water. We have a composting toilet. So biochar project I have going on right now really goes hand in hand with the solar field clearing and and basically the cleaning up of the property too. The property that we're out at was logged, I think 15 to 20 years ago, and not very well at that. A lot of deadfall all over, a lot of drop trees that were just dropped and left, a lot of just a lot of shit to get rid of. And biochar is a great way to get rid of some of that partially rotted punky wood that you're not going to be able to use for firewood, but it's not quite decomposed enough yet to turn it into mulch. It's kind of in that in-between stage of trying to do something with it, chunking it up and getting it made into biochar is not a bad thing. And you might be asking, and you might not know, you might have heard the term, you might not have, but what biochar is, it's basically biochar is charcoal, but you're making it with a purpose. Instead of burning wood completely to ash, like in a fire, in a burn barrel, in a campfire, something like that, you heat organic material. So it could be wood, it could be anything really organic, in a low oxygen environment to create a stable form of carbon that can be added back into the soil. Once you burn it, you crush it up, and then you inoculate it with some sort of organism. So one thing you can use, you could really just pee on it, and add nitrogen back into it and some living organisms. One thing I'll be probably doing is making comfrey tea, some compost tea, a mixture of both, and inoculating the biochar with that. But basically you add it back into the ground, into your soil, into the garden soil, into fields, wherever you want. And it really improves water retention in the soil, provides habitat for beneficial microbes, helps hold on to nutrients as it's infiltrating into the soil, and potentially locks that carbon back up into the ground for decades, even centuries. So basically just giving some really good structure to your soil and beneficial structure back into that soil, holding water, places for nutrients to live and breed, or microorganisms, holding in those nutrients, and so just really a beneficial product. There's several ways to make biochar. You can do it just in basically dig a ditch and start burning, and as there's it burns on the top, it gets that low oxygen environment underneath, and you just keep adding on top and on top and on top, and that pile of charcoal grows. You can do it in a Weber grill. There's just all sorts of different techniques that you can look up, and then all the way up into industrial automated systems that run off power and have conveyor belts and really higher tech ways to build it. I'm kind of doing something in the middle there. It's called a retort. Basically, I've explained it a couple times on the show. Basically, it's a drum, so a 55-gallon drum with a smaller drum inside. And to make my low oxygen environment, that smaller drum is sealed inside the bigger drum, sealed to a point. It's got some vent holes in it because as you turn that organics into charcoal, it puts off wood gas in this case, because I'm using wood. It puts off wood gas, and it needs some places for that to escape. So there are some holes in that center, in that inner drum, but basically sealed up to keep the oxygen out. And the theory, basically, you load material around the outside in the space, the difference in the space. So you got the big drum, you got the little drum, and you fill the space, the empty space, with the stuff you're going to burn to make the stuff inside the little drum into charcoal. Hunter says they still haven't found a 30-gallon drum, and I'm going to get that in just a second. So that's really a retort. I had this printed out here. It says a retort is a simple method of making biochar by heating wood or other biomass in a mostly oxygen-free container. Material inside the retort doesn't burn like a campfire. It undergoes pyrolysis, releasing gases while leaving behind carbon-rich biochar. I chose retort method because it's relatively efficient, produces cleaner end product, and gives more control over the process, just throwing the wood in a pit and hoping for the best. Yeah, that was kind of a generic little printout I found about what a retort is. My biggest reason for picking a retort is, if you're doing it in a pit, if you're doing it in a grill, in a drum, just making it like a campfire, to stop the process, to keep your charcoal from turning all the ash, what you got to do is called quench it. Basically, spray water on it, put the fire out, stop things from burning. And we don't have a ton of access to water right now on the property. And so a retort, basically, when your burn stock, the stuff you're setting on fire to convert the stuff on the inner drum, once that consumes itself, once that burns up, and the wood gas stops coming out of the inner barrel, which is also very flammable, which helps heat more, which helps make more biochar. Once all that stops, once that burn stock feeds and the wood gas stops, it's just done. It doesn't continue to burn. So no need for quenching. Basically, you fill it up once it's ready, once I tune it in, and I did test run this week, and I'm going to talk about the results. But once you have it dialed in, basically you fill it up, set it, light it, walk away, come back the next day, and it's done. There's no babysitting it. There's no adding more. There's no checking to make sure if it's burning too much. There's no quenching in the end. So that's kind of why I went with a retort. And it's very similar to the system I ran back when I worked for a startup that was doing conversion of waste plastic to synthetic crude oil. We did that through the pyrolysis process, and so I'm very familiar with it, and the science behind it, and different things, and troubleshooting issues with the systems and things like that. So Hunter said he hasn't found a 30-gallon drum, and so that's how I've initially set up my retort. Is a 55-gallon drum, a 30-gallon drum on the inside, and then really the only other thing is a stovepipe coming out of the 55-gallon drum lid to create a draft and to create that fire oxygen-rich environment on the outside of the inner drum. So I filled it up. I filled the inner drum with some deadfall. I chunked up and split. I got that pretty full. The issue I ran into was the space, the annular space between the smaller drum and the bigger drum. Around the outside, it isn't very thick. And then the height difference between the two isn't very much. So I didn't have a lot of small feedstock to get down and fill in between the two drums because it wasn't wide enough. And then I wasn't able to get a lot of denser, heavier, longer burning stuff on top of the drum because there wasn't enough vertical space between the lid of the 30-gallon and the lid of the 55-gallon. I was just working with basically the scrap that I was cleaning up from the construction wood, some of the non-pressure treated stuff, some of the plywood, and then some slash and sticks that I have piled up that I just kind of shoved them in there as much as I could, and just did a really quick test run to see how it went. It didn't go as well as I had hoped. Now, I posted in the Telegram group when I was doing it that my first goal was to burn all the paint off the both of the barrels. So this wasn't a batch that I was going to keep. Even if it came out perfect, I wasn't going to keep it because I hadn't really tempered the barrels. I hadn't burned off the oil, or not the oil, the paint and the other things, whatever was in it. And I got a lot of it burned off. I just didn't get a consistent enough burn around the whole thing to get all the paint burned off. The inner drum, the barrel was all burned up. Mike's Homestead says, if not in a fire hazard area, why not just do away with the outer drum and build a huge fire around the inner drum? Is that what you're thinking? I suppose you could. I mean, it'd just be a big old fucking pile. I think you're gonna want to. I think you're still gonna want to babysit that. I don't think you're going to walk away from it. Maybe if you had it out in like a gravel pad or something, you could do that. It's a possibility. I don't think it wouldn't work. It's the right idea. I think that the outer drum and the chimney and the air intake at the bottom does a lot to create a draft to get the temperature up to start to pyrolyze the inner drum. You got to reach 600 degrees. You got to get that wood to about 600 degrees Fahrenheit to get it to start off gassing. And I don't know what the temperature would be if you just built a big bonfire around a drum. I mean, really, I've had an idea, and it's been on the drawing board and sketched out for a long time of basically a large chamber with multiple drums in it, and it's pretty much what you're talking about but still having that outer containment. But yeah, I suppose you could just build a large bonfire around the inner drum. It's not something I could do where I'm at, really, without babysitting it, and I probably wouldn't do it without water access to put it out if it started to spread. But anyway, I ran that test run. I did get it to go. One thing I found out is I think my vent holes at the bottom of my 55-gallon need to be a little bigger to draw more air into the bottom. I did get a draft rolling. I did get air pulling into them, but I would get a better burn if I cracked the lid open a little bit and let more oxygen in. There definitely wasn't enough feedstock in between the two drums, and so the lower it got in the burn, the less efficient it was, the less hot it got, and you could tell that by really how the paint burned off. And so I did get some biochar out of it. The stuff at the top of the inner drum, where there was a lot of stock on feedstock on the top, it did char up. It completely charred, especially some of the smaller pieces in there. Some things I'm going to try next. Like I said, I'm going to probably expand the holes in the bottom. I'm not getting rid of the 30-gallon drum yet. I think that if I have some pallets, and I think if I use pallet slats, I can get them in there good enough. I think we'll see. It's all testing. It's trying to dial this in. I think I can get pallet slats in, stacked around the outside, and then stacked up on top of the drum. that it would kind of burn better and more consistently. That's going to be kind of the next test run of it, with the bigger holes in the bottom, and then also probably smaller, more consistent feedstock in the inner drum that hopefully will pyrolysize better and more consistently. And but I definitely didn't get a full burn out of it. I didn't get enough burn around the outside. So Mike says, I just do mine in a 55-gallon drum and keep feeding it, but I have failed a couple times on the quench and ended up with ash. Takes way more water than you would think. I've successfully made several 100 gallons. Yeah, I mean, and there it is. It, like, this is not the easiest method. It's not the least amount of work. I mean, I guess if you count watching it, adding, quenching, maybe it's the same amount of work, just getting it filled, getting it prepped, and then lighting it and walking away. It's just what works best for me without the water. And like Mike says, it takes way more water than you would think. And I just don't have it to spare. So finding a system that just kind of extinguishes itself and doesn't drop all the way to ash is kind of what I'm aiming for. I just never will have to use that water. So there is that. And it's cool to be able to build it and troubleshoot it and make it work. So we'll see. I did reach out to my Mike's home says I usually do it when I was out cutting firewood already. Yeah, I mean, and that's a great time to do it. I did reach out to the guy that I get the IBC totes and drums from, the guy that I got the 55 and the 30 from, looking for a smaller inner barrel. He thinks he might have a 20, an old 20. He might be able to get his hands on some 25s or possibly 15s. And we'll see. Hopefully he does. And hopefully I can mess around with a bunch of different sizes and see what works the best. And maybe for different feedstock, maybe for different applications, different size barrels will work better or be more efficient. So we'll see. And like I said, I'm just doing wood. You can really do any sort of biomass, any organic material. And I've seen people do bone, do any sort of organic scrap, biomass from a property, and just all sorts of stuff. So it'll be a big long experiment, and then hopefully it's just we start making some char and getting that. Like I said, I'm probably going to be inoculating it with some comfrey tea. Also going to start up some comfrey tea. I don't want to call them experiments. I know what to do. There's a couple different methods to making comfrey tea. Not comfrey tea to drink, comfrey tea for fertilizer. Basically, you make a concentrate. A couple different ways to do it. Fill up a drum, a bucket, or something with a spout in the bottom. Well, probably 2/3 or a little more full of comfrey leaves, and then fill it up the rest with water. Basically, put a lid on it and let it sit. It's going to smell like the worst shit you ever smelled before in your life. It's going to turn black. It's basically rotting. But when you drain it out, it becomes a great fertilizer for your garden, for your plants. And it's concentrated. So you're going to use it like 1 part to 10 parts, 1 part to 8 parts, something like that. The other way you can do it is you can literally fill the bucket, stuff it with comfrey leaves with no water, put some sort of weight and plate on the top, so pushing down on it, so it kind of keeps pressure on it as it decomposes. And there's so much liquid retention in the fresh comfrey leaves that the liquid will actually come out itself. So you're not soaking it, you're not speeding up the process. That process takes a little longer, but you do get more concentrate. You get less liquid, more concentrated. And I've seen numbers anywhere from 15-1 to 20-1 when you're mixing that with water for fertilizer. So I'm probably going to do run a batch with water just to get some to start getting on getting on some of the trees and bushes and things in the food forest. And then doing some longer, after I make a batch of concentrate and I have some to use, fire up a batch of the non-water and see how that goes, and see the difference in production length and amount that I get out of it. Because I mean, I got a lot of comfrey leaves, and that's something to do with them. So that's coming up. And basically, once I make the biochar, I'll be inoculating it with that comfrey tea too. So it'll be good to have around. What else do I got over here? Echo radios, they're still on the way. I got to update. They are here in Tennessee somewhere in the mail system. So it's been a little over a week still in transit. I'm excited to test them out. I'm excited to use them, see if they work for our purposes, and share that stuff with you guys and let you know. One thing is, if you're buying them purposely for a road trip or a camping trip or something coming up, know that they're on a slow boat from China, and I would give yourself at least it looks like 2 weeks to receive them and also get them set up and working. So just give yourself some time, and I should have them in my hands soon, and be making some content on how they work and how they if they're worth it. So excited about that. Hopefully here in the next couple days they'll be out. Let me see. Opened up my Blockstream Jade Core this week. Got that open. Haven't really dug into it, but man, it looks pretty simple. They stripped down the design. There's no camera on it. There's really no battery in it. Basically, you plug it in to your phone or your computer, and it syncs up with the Blockstream app, and away you go. Your hardware wallet's there and ready to rock. This week I should dive in a little bit. I'm trying to decide how I want to roll with that. I don't want to use my Blockstream app. I might do it on the computer. I might do it on like Corey's phone or an extra phone I got laying around. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't dialed that in. So haven't done any how-to videos on it yet, but I did do the unboxing, got that up on YouTube. Also put up reviews on a nice little handheld fan that I had set out. That is a definite buy at the price, and a weather station, an inexpensive weather station. I've been kind of a weather geek for quite a while. We had a really nice, expensive weather station at the farm. Very important when you're homesteading, when you're farming, that you know kind of what's going on, how much rain you've got, this and that. We did pick up a really nice weather station up there. This one that I had people send out to test out is more inexpensive. It was in that $30 range, and it's nice. It's nice, and especially for the price. It's gonna work for the time being, and maybe long term. Doesn't have a rain gauge on it, but does do temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, has an atomic clock. It does do a weather prediction kind of forecast off of the barometric pressure and how it's been going up and down, and we'll see how accurate that is. It takes a while for that to calibrate, but we'll see. So there was that, and then a hole saw kit, a 13 or 14 piece hole saw kit that will come in real handy as we do construction and putting conduit through walls and doing stuff like that. And I got the review videos for those 3 things up on the YouTube channel this week. So products coming in, got some more products coming in, and like I said, I got that Jade Core to mess around with and check out. So let's see what's on the list here. What I got? 5 minutes. So this has been on my list for a while, and I haven't really gotten to it any day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, and it might be talk about it more next week. I don't know, but I saw a story a while back. It's probably been a month ago now, or a little more, about a law in New York State. Now, New York State passes some doozies for sure. But this one, this one is it's creating an incentive and education program for doing floating solar. Basically solar panels mounted on floating platforms and installing them on reservoirs, retention ponds, and industrial water bodies. And I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I think that there are much, much better places to put solar panels. Much better. Parking garages, mall roofs, building roofs. Let's start with those kind of places, and then move on to the water and the farmland. Maybe we do that. That would be ideal. But anyway, they're incentivizing doing these floating solar panels. Advocates are claiming it produces renewable energy. Duh. Reduces water evaporation. I guess that could be a good and a bad thing. And the panels stay cooler, potentially improving efficiency. So that is probably true on the staying cooler on the panels. Ask my friend Palm Tree about how hot it gets under the panels. Questions no one seems to ask from the article. Why are we using water surfaces when parking lots exist, warehouse roofs exist, big box store roofs exist, brownfields? I'm not sure exactly what brownfields are, exist, and we have all this already developed space. Why are we deciding to put floating solar fields out there? And when the room on the reservoirs and things like that runs out, are we going to be shoving them all over the local lakes, the smaller ponds, and things like that? Really, just throwing a monkey wrench in the ecosystem. Pip says, I was thinking solar covered car lots. That is the most, like, when I think solar fields and I see them putting them in farmland, the first thing I think of when I'm like, oh, solar panels, why don't we put them on the top of buildings? First of all, you got huge warehouses, like the article said, big box stores, things like that. And then car parks. How many people walk out to car parks, they get in their car and it's scorching hot. They're like, oh my God, holy crap. We have a whole industry over remote starters to cool down your car before you get into it. Why don't we put everybody in the shade and harvest the sun instead of just letting it blast on the pavement, blast on all the vehicles? Wouldn't that be a good idea? Pip says, what happens when a solar panel breaks while floating in the water? I think you got to take a boat out to fix it, or reel it into shore and fix it. So, but I think there's definitely better, more efficient uses of space than water for putting solar panels. But in New York, in its infinite wisdom, has passed a bill to incentivize it. Yeah, just frustrating. Why are they incentivizing, like Pip says, parking lots? Why aren't they incentivizing rooftops? Why aren't they incentivizing warehouses? And it, along with the solar panels, why aren't we covering these things with growing stuff? So you could go either way. You could go a living roof, or you could go a solar panel roof, and really just save the water and the farm fields until all of that stuff is occupied. But I mean, who am I to pontificate about that? I don't know. So that was just something I noticed along the way. Had been kicking around on the list, is these floating solar projects in New York. Other than that, guys, we're kind of up on an hour. I'm going to wrap it up. I think I'm going to save the refrigeration systems failing like crazy around here for next week. I'm going to see if any more pop up. Seems to be every day or two more reports of failing freezers and ACs in this local area. And I'm wondering if they're all connected or if it just happens to be random. So we will see about that in the next week, and maybe it'll come back around on next week's list. So other than that, if you could pop over to the YouTube channel and give the videos a view, maybe a like and share. Be sure you're subscribed over there. Telegram group t.me/lotschat. There's a bunch of affiliate links down in the video description and the audio description for all sorts of stuff, and including my Amazon storefront, where there's more than 100 review videos that you can check out and start your Amazon shopping there. Doing a little update work to the Lots Project website, and I do have something spinning up alongside that might be able to go live here in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, guys, have a fantastic week. I hope you enjoyed the show. Share it with someone you think can use a laugh or the information that we're providing, and we'll talk to you next Monday.